We've all heard the maxim, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. Where does it come from? I want to tell you about Maimonides. Maimonides was an Hebrew philosopher from the Middle Ages that actually gave us that maxim. And it wasn't just out of anywhere. He was a philosopher who wrote on the Torah and ideas about the law that nobody had ever heard before at that time. And while it seems like a religious principle, you're not going to find it in the Bible. You can live an abundant life simply by applying these principles. Maimonides had 8 levels of charity. And it starts from the very base of what he calls charity given grudgingly. The grudging giver is somebody that does give but hates doing it. It's very simple. I've been there. I didn't want to have to give, but I did. I don't know, maybe you feel pressured, but you give it anyway, and then you're angry about it. It's almost better that you don't give it at all, because if you're going to attach that kind of energy to it, I don't know, it just seems too negative. The level 7 of the charitable giving is you're giving less than you should, but doing it happily. You know, you see somebody who's in need, a homeless person who's asking for spare change. You toss them a penny. That penny isn't going to do anybody any good. It doesn't really have any real buying power in today's market, so you know that you're not really helping, but you do it cheerfully because, hey, at least I'm giving something. The 6th level of charity is the person who gives to the poor when they're asked. It seems as though our job in this world is to take care of each other. It's not good for us to be alone, we know that. And we really don't do well when we aren't lifting each other up. I need to remember that charity is my business as a human, and my fellow man and woman are blessings to me, but also they are in need of blessing by me, and it's my job to do so. It should be self-motivating. Which brings us into the level 5 of charity, giving to the poor without being asked. Well, that's good. Level 4 of Maimonides' levels of charity, where you give and you have no idea who it's going to. You just have the faith and knowledge that what you give is going to benefit somebody, and you don't know who, but you know that it will. That's good charity. There are better rewards if you can wait it out and see it come to fruition for yourself. Which takes us into the 3rd level of charity. You know who you're giving it to, and they have no idea where it's coming from. That's a fun one. When you can see the joy that you bring to somebody else by your giving, and they have no idea who it comes from. Well, I mean, really, I don't know if you want to call it a Santa Claus complex or what, but it feels really good. You've saved the day and they have no idea how. And you just get to quietly know that you were the reason they slept well that night. It feels good. We come to the 2nd level of charity, and that's where the donor and the recipient have no idea who each other are. Donate to some charity that's going to sponsor a child in some foreign country, or rescue an animal that is in the wild. You know that you've done some good. You know that you've paid to have trees planted somewhere in the Amazon. You couldn't point it out, even if you had a map, but you know that you did it. And that tree has no idea why it's there. It just is, and will be, hopefully, for hundreds of years, because of your charitable donation. You don't take your rewards here, but you do the good, and you do faithfully while you are. And that takes us to the 1st level of charity. Now, this is the one that is the ultimate, but where you want to strive and what you want to get to when you are giving. And that is sustaining a person before poverty sets in. To put it another way, to lift a person up to where they can sustain themselves without the need of charity. To where you can lift a person out of poverty so that by the work of their own hands, by the skills that you have taught them or given them, they can then earn their own living and, in turn, hopefully, be charitable themselves and return the favor to another willing soul later on down the line. And as I look back on the 8 levels here of Maimonides' levels of charity, I realize that I have hit every single one of them. I have been the begrudging giver. I've been the one who's cheerfully given less than was asked. I've been asked. I've done it without asking. I did it for those I knew and those that I didn't. I've given to charities and to ideologies that I believe in but have no idea where my actual dollar is going. And I've also taught people how to pick up a telephone, look at a computer, get into a car, and drive to a place to tell jokes and make a living that way and help sustain other people's livings that way. I've found myself at all of the 8 points in Maimonides' levels of charity, and maybe you have as well. And if you didn't know about this before, well, there you go. Add a new wrinkle to the brain, and may this charitable donation to you be a blessing that you can use in your life for someone else. Go be a Maimonides. Go teach a person to fish. And if you like this message, share it, pass it on. Give me a follow. Make sure to subscribe. And if you feel like it's in your heart to charitably give because you've gained something from this message, please feel free to contribute at the links below. I'm Alex Elkin. Normally it's comedy, but this was on my heart to deliver this message. So here is a message true to you in an acknowledgement of abundance. Help others be prosperous and watch how that bounty and that abundance flows into your own life. This all sounds like a bunch of biblical guckety muck and godly blah blah blah, and I don't believe in that. Well, let me just say this, that maybe yes, these are godly principles. Even if you are not a believer in God, let me entreat you to just think about this then for a minute. When the person who believes there is no God is confronted by the one who's in need, if there is no God to help, you have to be that person to stand in the gap if there's no God. So all the more reason to take on these principles, because where's the lie here? Thanks for watching.